This video is for you if you want to learn how to heal your eczema naturally without going to the doctors, without getting prescribed steroid creams. Well, that is exactly what I did twice, and I'm going to tell you exactly how in this video. So I recently had the worst flare-up that I ever had, and I said this in the last video that I did because that was true then, but this one was way worse. And it seemed to come out of nowhere. I was feeling really sad because my skin was so dry and red, as you can see in the images. I managed to heal this skin condition in around 2 weeks. The worst of it was gone, and I didn't go to the doctors. I didn't use any steroid creams. This was all done completely naturally and holistically. This is my skin now compared to the picture that I showed you. I'm just getting out both my arms. The wrist, I've pretty much got all nice soft skin now, thank God. I also just want to say that nothing in this video is sponsored, and a little disclaimer, if you do feel like you need to go to the doctors, I'm not discouraging you from doing that. This video is all about listening to your body, listening to your intuition, and so if that is something that you feel called to do, by all means go to the doctors. I didn't feel called to do that, so I'm just sharing the things that I did to get rid of my eczema this time around. These are also different to my last video, because in my last video I spoke about what I did and all of those things worked to get rid of my eczema, but this time I had a flare up and I was still doing all of those things. So it wasn't any of those things that was causing the eczema. This time I had to really look into and feel into what it is that my body was telling me to do this time around, and it was very different. So I'm going to go into all of that. Before we move into this video, I just want to say thank you so much for your comments, and I really do enjoy having conversations with you guys. And also please do leave a comment or a like or subscribe if you do get value from this video, because it really does help my channel. Yes, I would love to continue doing this. So the way that I approach my health and my healing, for the most part, before I do any medical interventions or go into the doctors, is I approach it holistically. And what that means is by looking at all the different areas of my life and then listening to my body and asking it what it needs at this time. And this can be from an emotional perspective, this could be physically, mentally, or all of the above. So it's really taking into account everything that I'm doing and every part of my life that maybe I'm out of alignment, and seeing where my body is asking me to change that and get back into alignment. The first thing I want to speak about in this video, which I think is so important and is so overlooked when it comes to our health, is really listening to our emotions. When I had this flare up, I went to my friend's house and I showed her the flare up that I had and told her what I was dealing with. She said to me, "Is there anything that you are emotionally not dealing with?" And I knew instantly what that was. I gave her this look and she was like, I ended up basically telling the girls that night exactly what I was dealing with, and this was something that I hadn't actually said out loud. It was to do with one of the relationships in my life, and there was some unspoken feelings that hadn't been dealt with, and I really was resisting and scared to deal with these issues in my life. And this was something that had gone on for a little while and was the one thing that I just hadn't admitted to myself. And once I let that out to the girls, I had a little cry about it and I really admitted to them what I was dealing with and something that I knew I had to do in terms of communicating to someone how I felt, which is something that I didn't want to do. And once I got that out to them, I felt so much better emotionally. I felt like a weight had been lifted because I had said out loud. I remember thinking to myself when I had this eczema flare up, I have to deal with this situation, because if this situation is causing me to flare up because of underlying stress or emotions that are not being dealt with, this eczema flare up 100% pushed me into making those decisions, them hard decisions of dealing with my emotions, dealing with things that I was kind of avoiding. If you're having an eczema flare up or you're having a skin condition flare up, that you can ask yourself, when I think of something that needs to be dealt with in me emotionally, what comes to mind, and just feel it out. See if there's anything that you really know that you need to change in your life. Maybe you need to let go of in your life. Maybe you need to do in your life, take action on, that you have been putting off for a while. And it might be something that's actually really important for you and your growth. Just taking notes on whether there is something there. And if there is, maybe thinking about acting on it or even speaking to someone about it can just be so cathartic and such a good release and so healing. That was number one. Number two is, and this is a very quick one, I would write down affirmations every morning and say, I'm so grateful for the healing of my skin. This was just like a flip in my state of being because I would find myself getting really down. And so I would kind of shift my state of being by just writing in my gratitude journal, thank you for the healing of my skin. And that was just one thing that I did. So another thing that I did, a massive thing that I did, was all to do with my diet. And I had actually been given a book called the Eczema Detox. I'd been given this book maybe a couple years ago and never read it. But when I got this eczema flare up, one of the things that I felt called to do, along with everything else that I'm telling you about at the time where I was feeling so down, everyone was kind of saying to me as well, why don't you just go to the doctors and get some creams? And my body was like, no, we're not doing that. There's so many other things that I can do before I do that to see if I can heal it myself. And I would ask myself, what are the things that I could do? So that's a good question you can ask yourself is, what is my body trying to tell me? What does my body want me to try to heal this eczema, and see what comes up for you? And reading this eczema detox book was a massive one for me. I highly recommend this book if you are dealing with any skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, or even withdrawal symptoms to steroid creams, because it speaks about all of this in this book. And what I learned from reading this book was that there are many chemicals in a lot of plants and different foods. People that have eczema flare-ups are likely to be sensitive to certain chemicals like salicylates and amines, which are found in many different foods. The strategy that this book takes, and the lady that wrote this book has done lots of research on eczema. So many people have said the same, that they really love her work, and following her detox and her advice has helped them to clear up their eczema. So I'm really grateful for this. This book basically talks about if you don't know what you're sensitive to, then you can do a food elimination diet. And this is what I did. Basically stripped away everything that I was eating apart from specific foods in the book. She basically calls this group of foods the itchy dozen. And these are the foods that are most likely to, cause a flare up with eczema. And that is dairy products, alcohol, chocolate, kiwi, soy sauce, avocados, tomatoes, broccoli, dried fruits, deli meats, eggs, and junk food. Those are the foods that you want to be avoiding. You might need a whole detox to basically remove these chemicals out of your body so that you can build up the immune system so that you're not as sensitive in the future. Try this eczema detox, try the food elimination diet. I did this food elimination diet for a couple of months, and you basically eliminate all of these foods and then you start introducing them one by one to see if you are sensitive to them. And for me, I haven't really had any big flare-ups from eating any foods. I mean, the last couple of days I have been trying eggs and I have kind of got a little bit itchy. It's nowhere near as bad as it was, but I am wondering if maybe eggs could be something that I'm sensitive to, and that's something that I'm going to keep on trying and seeing how that works out for me. So these are all the extra things that I have done, and my eczema, as I said, completely cleared up pretty much. If you got any value from this video, please do give this video a thumbs up and let me know what you guys do when it comes to your eczema flare-ups. If you have any tips or tricks that work for you. If you did enjoy this video, then I do have another one, my first video on how I healed my eczema, which has lots of other different tips, which I still stick to for my skin and the health of my skin. So definitely do check that one out. I will link that in the description below as well. But for now, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Have a beautiful day. Peace, namaste. Beautiful souls.